Hi all, my name's Olly and this is Simply Stitchy. Two people got in touch recently for help identifying Singer sewing machines. Nothing new there, people ask me for help all the time. What was a surprise was the machine they were both asking about. Because the machine in question is one of the slightly rarer Singer models. What are the odds on that? Two different people in two different states contacting me to ask about the same rare-ish US machine in the same month. One had a serial number starting with a letter and one had just numbers. The machine in question didn't even start out as a Singer. Today's video looks at when a Singer sewing machine isn't a Singer, and it's starting right now. One of Singer's earliest competitors was a company called Wheeler and Wilson Manufacturing Company. Originally they were based in Wheeler's hometown of Watertown in Connecticut. Now I've read one source that mentioned the original base as being Waterbury. That's on the singersewinginfo.co.uk website, which, as the name suggests, is a UK based site. So they're not likely to know much about Connecticut's history or its geography. ConnecticutHistory.org, on the other hand, show it as being Watertown. Now I've checked both towns on Google Maps, and as you can see from these screenshots, both are close together and have similar names, so it's easy to see why there's a little bit of a discrepancy. I'm kind of leaning towards Connecticut history, not just because they're in Connecticut, so they're more likely to know their own history, but it's also because they've listed their sources. I've linked both in the description box below for you, so you can make your own decision on which one's right. Anyway, whichever town they started in, it got too small, so in 1856 they moved to a larger 7-acre plus location in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Thinking the name Bridgeport rings a little bit of a bell? Listen on, there's more to this story. Wheeler and Wilson machines were slightly different to Singers in that they used a rotary hook mechanism. Most Singer machines were either vibrating shuttles, like Grandma, or oscillating, like the Singer 15. This is the Singer Simple, and it's based on the same design as the 15. Here's how it works. Watch. See how it goes one way and then goes back on itself? A rotary hook goes all the way round. You usually find rotary hooks on industrial machines. Although Wheeler and Wilson did make domestic machines like the Model 8 and the Model 9, which they later called the D9, they were more interested in breaking into the industrial machine market. Hold that thought for a moment. Now, I don't own any Wheeler and Wilson machines, so I can't show you any. And I can't insert random pictures off the internet because, well, copyright. But what I can do is put some links in the description box to more information and pictures of the machines. So that's what I've done. It's down there, along with my Ko-fi link and the like button for this video. Click the like and donate to the other one. Your support is appreciated. Wheeler and Wilson's production peaked at around 128,000 machines per year by the 1870s, but as that century was nearing its close, so too was Wheeler and Wilson. The end of the 1800s saw things start to slow down for the company, which is a shame because they actually won some awards for their innovative designs. It didn't help that Alan B. Wilson died in the 1880s and his business partner Nathaniel Wheeler died in 1893. Although the company carried on for a while after that, it was finally sold to their old rival Singer in 1905. Singer continued to make the Model D9 for a few years after the purchase of the company, and they made it in exactly the same way, but they did rebrand it, or rather badge it, as the Singer 9W. Over time they tweaked the design slightly from that very first 9W. According to the Ismax website, links in the description box, there are at least 13 different tweaked 9Ws. Key identifiers for this machine would have been the early 9Ws look like the Wheeler and Wilson D9. because they are the Wheeler and Wilson D9. The later models, like the 9W7, will have the thread spool at the back by the hand wheel instead of in the middle as it is on the D9. All the 9Ws will have a square shaped pillar, unlike Singer machines which have a rounded pillar. On the 9W, the tension discs are mounted here on the top of the faceplate in this corner, unlike the Singer 15, which tends to be further down. There's a link to a video by the treasure seller of a Singer 9W in the description box below, so you can see not only what it looks like but how it sews. Now, they stopped making 9Ws at Bridgeport around about 1913 when the factory switched over and started concentrating on, you remember that thought I asked you to hold on to at the start of the video? Well, here it comes, bit of a drum roll. Singer's industrial machines. Bridgeport was obviously destined to be the home of industrials, and that's why the name Bridgeport rings such a bell to Singer fans in particular. Under Singer, the Bridgeport factory expanded to over 15 acres, and by the 1940s they were employing around 1,500 people. Now, to identify the factories where their machines were made, Singer used letters in both the model names and the serial numbers. So a 128K, for instance, would have been a 128 machine built at the Kilbowie Clydebank, Scotland factory. A serial number starting with a G, like Grandma's, is Elizabethport, New Jersey. Singer's Bridgeport models have a W after their model name, the 9W, or even the industrial models made there like the 107W or the 112W. I don't have pictures of those either. This video is highlighting machines that I'm missing. I've linked to another YouTuber's video in the description box, SEMN sewing machines, so that you can see what the 112W looks like at least. Some of the earliest serial numbers from Bridgeport also started with a W, and these serial numbers were a continuation of the original Wheeler and Wilson numbers. Were Singer giving a nod to the original owners by carrying on using their numbering system? I'd like to think so, but it's probably more likely that they were just using up what was left over. Now, you'll remember from the start of the video I mentioned that one of the two people that got in touch with me had a machine with a letter in the serial number. That letter was a W. Bobby, sorry I can't reply in person to your comment, I can't publish it, so I hope you're watching this video. Your machine could be one of the earlier Singer 9Ws. It probably dates from post 1905 when Singer bought the factory to around 1913. I can't be more specific as I don't know the year they stopped using the letter in the serial number. A later model, the 9W7, didn't have a W in the serial number, it only had digits. Again, I don't know what year the 9W7 was introduced or when Singer ditched the W. Deborah, I replied to your comments, so check your notifications. If you're watching, yours doesn't have a letter, so you could be looking at a machine that dates from the tail end of the 1905 to 1913 bracket. Or it could be later than 1913. It's not easy to date these particular machines. Some sources that I've looked at indicate that Singer continued the production of the 9W at a different location after 1913. They were possibly producing them as late as the 1920s. Or it could be Singer had quite a few left over and was simply selling off old stock rather than making new ones. I don't know. According to the Wheeler and Wilson page on the ISMAX website, the link's below, the 9W appeared in the Elizabethport catalogue for a few years. So who knows, maybe Singer did transfer production to Elizabethport and that's why the W disappeared. The only thing that's for certain is that 9Ws with the Singer brand date from 1905 onwards, because that's the year Singer bought Wheeler and Wilson. Anything more than that, it's just a best guess. If you want to know more about Wheeler and Wilson or Singer machines with a W in the model number, check out the links in the description. Unfortunately, the database on singer serial numbers doesn't include ones starting with a W because they're not singer serial numbers. Dating these machines is always going to be more of a as close as you can get it based on when the model was produced kind of exercise. Thanks to Bobby and Deborah for getting in touch for help on this machine. I've enjoyed going down the rabbit hole for both of them, and I hope the information contained in this video has been helpful to you. I hope you liked today's video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Why not check out some of the other videos on my channel with these links coming up any minute now. Click subscribe and ring the bell so that YouTube can let you know when I upload another one. And let me know in the comments if you have a singer that isn't a singer. If you've got one that's actually badged, Wheeler and Wilson. Oh, quick safety announcement. If you do leave a comment, don't put your phone number or your email in it, and don't share links. The comment will get flagged as inappropriate and end up in my comments held for review section. I don't go in there very often because, well, some comments can be inappropriate and no one wants to see that. I've got a better chance of seeing your comments if you keep them clean and free from personal info. In the meantime, wherever you're sewing, whatever you're sewing with, embrace your creativity and have fun. Thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.